The federal government's push to make Canada's electricity system net zero is running straight into reality, and it's not pretty. Through the clean electricity regulations, the government wants all provinces to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions from electricity generation by 2035. It is an ambitious goal, but one that ignores a basic fact. Demand for electricity is exploding, and provinces are struggling to keep up. New technologies like artificial intelligence are supercharging this demand. AI systems, including tools such as ChatGPT, rely on massive data centers, huge warehouses of computer servers that need constant cooling and enormous amounts of electricity to function. According to a recent Royal Bank of Canada report, if all proposed data center projects in Canada move ahead, they would consume 14% of the country's entire electricity supply by 2030. That is roughly the same as projections in the United States, where data centers are expected to use up to 15% of the national total. This is a serious problem. Provinces such as Alberta and Saskatchewan have already raised the alarm, arguing that the federal regulations overstep Ottawa's constitutional authority. Energy supply, like natural resources, has traditionally been under provincial control. Alberta and Ontario operate their own electricity markets to attract investment and ensure reliability. Federal regulations threaten to undermine these efforts, adding risk and driving up costs. The situation is already tense. Alberta, for example, issued multiple grid alerts in 2024 due to shortages and market disruptions. The province is now looking at behind-the-fence power solutions, encouraging data centers to generate their own electricity to guarantee stability. Canada was not always in this bind. For decades, we enjoyed an abundance of clean, affordable hydroelectric power. Provinces like Quebec, British Columbia, Manitoba, and Newfoundland and Labrador built massive hydro projects starting in the 1960s, creating cheap power and even surpluses to export to U.S. markets. In 2022, for example, BC sent 74% of its exported power to the U.S., while Quebec sent 63% and Ontario an impressive 81%, generating billions in revenue. But that era is coming to an end. Most of the best sites for hydro dams have already been developed. New projects would require expensive, long-distance transmission lines to bring power from remote areas to the cities that need it. On top of that, growing environmental concerns make new dam construction an uphill battle. The truth is, there is no quick fix. A 2025 study by the Fraser Institute paints a grim picture. To meet future electricity demand solely with solar power would require 1,680 years of construction. Wind power? About 1,150 years. Even hydro would take close to a millennium. Even if we combine these sources, we are still looking at more than 1,000 years to build enough capacity. Meanwhile, federal projections estimate that Canada's electricity demand will double by 2050. Without significant policy changes, Canadians could soon face the worst of both worlds, soaring electricity bills and the threat of power shortages. Our economy could also suffer as companies and data centers look to other jurisdictions with more reliable power supplies. So what should Canada do? Here are 3 practical steps. 1. Scrap the clean electricity regulations. Provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan are already committed to reaching net zero by 2050. Federal interference only creates unnecessary political battles and delays investments. 2. Fast-track approvals for new interprovincial transmission lines. Today, building a new transmission line can take more than a decade. Speeding up this process would help provinces share power and avoid costly overbuilding of generation capacity. 3. Launch a major low-interest loan program to build new power infrastructure. We need to dramatically expand our generation and transmission systems, including natural gas-fired plants, to meet future demand. Canadians deserve a reliable, affordable, and clean energy future. But we will not get there by ignoring the realities of rising demand and provincial responsibilities. It is time for the federal government to listen to the provinces, embrace practical solutions, and avoid an avoidable crisis. Otherwise, we are on track for blackouts, higher bills, and missed economic opportunities.